So welcome everyone to the present show with Mindful Pat and Lele. Hey Lele.
Hi Pat.
So today on the show we have Miss Breanna Robinson, who is not only a great public speaker and influential person, but she's also an author of this amazing children's book. She's sort of an expert on fear. Thanks for being on the show, Bree. Good to have you.
Yeah, of course. I'm really excited and just hoping that, my story and what I view mindfulness will hopefully leave people just with some encouragement with whatever step and walk they are at in their journey of discovering mindfulness and what it is to them. The book actually itself is more so geared towards children. So it is more of a family resource, and it can be, but I get a lot of one-on-one experience with kids as well as in group environments, and really just coaching them through realizing that fear is real. It's a real emotion, but how do I move forward from that and not let it affect everything that I do? So it's really helping them overcome those things and move through that struggle and battle that, I believe that if the kids can get it figured out as, they're young, it's as less impactful when they're an adult and going through maybe some bigger or rougher fears.
Is there a difference between how kids deal or react to fear versus adults, or?
I would definitely not say that responses are necessarily different because we're all still human. So just because a kid is a kid, it may be, I think the way to answer your question is that kids have more of the basic foundations of fear. Whereas an adult, you build a lot of your fears based off of that foundation. So for example, I'm fearing, I fear the dark or something like that. And then you start as an adult building all these things. Well, because I fear the dark, this, and building all these reasons and things on it. Parents, mentors, teachers, kid can tell you, oh my gosh, I'm afraid of the dark. And you're like, okay, well, don't be afraid of the dark. And it's just not how, it's not how it works. So it's helping friends, it's helping those family members and people just be like, that's a real fear. It's a real thing. Now let's work towards, practical things to help you really get, unafraid essentially, and really just tackling the fear head on. So not ignoring it, not telling it that it's not aware or it's not around, but saying, hey, this is a real thing. Now let's start working through that thing together. So I would say that's more so just the difference. As kids, it's more foundational. And as an adult, you've had years of building upon those foundations of fears that are set normally when you're a child.
Bri, one thought. Why do you think we give always a negative connotation to our fear? So, for instance, if we have, we fear the darkness, we then imagine always that there is something terrible hidden behind this darkness instead of something marvelous. Why is it that?
The dark, like you said, the dark isn't always bad. We can view it as actually an exciting thing of things left to be discovered, or as, I think a lot of times if you look at it from a perspective of more so, hey, there's a bunch of darkness, and how can I look at, areas that actually can bring light to this? And I think that sometimes we just don't think it that way. Sometimes our default, and that could be generational. It could be just things that we're brought up in, is like our default is, let me look at the negative. And not all people are like that. You have kids that are like, I love the dark, right? And then you have kids that are like, I am so scared. And fear can be, sometimes a generational thing. Just like if you as a dad say you're afraid of spiders, and all the time as your kid's growing up, you express these fears towards spiders, your kid may have never been afraid of spiders, but then adopted that fear because you explained that it was something that was scary to you. So sometimes fear can be, generational or passed down as well, even if you're not intending it for it to be.
I think the more we become aware and mindful, then we sort of notice that fear, that emotion arising, right? So, okay, I'm approaching a dark room. There I see a spider in the corner. And then, okay, fear's coming up. Right now I'm starting to think thoughts associated with that. But if you're able to sort of be aware of that situation happening, those emotions arising, you can decide, right?
No, I think that's a perfect explanation of how mindfulness affects that. It's taking fear and it's saying, hey, that's a really real fear that I'm feeling right now. I'm not a fan of that spider in the corner, but you know what? I can choose to remain calm. I can choose to breathe it out. I can choose to chill out and move past that fear. And honestly, I think mindfulness can be a really great tool, to anybody dealing with fear, to really help them not be overtaken or overcome by the feeling of fear.
So let me make an example. It always happens to me every day. Right? So I have two little fellows, and my little daughter, She's 4 years old, and she's scared of darkness. So sometimes she calls me and she says that, Daddy, I'm scared. So the solution is to turn on the light of the bathroom that is next to the room next to, and that's it. But is it a good solution, or how to overcome the fears of our kids in this case? What's the best way to reply them? Shall we ask them to pay attention to something, or what would you say?
Just teaching her to say no to fear, say no to fear of the darkness, be gone fear of the darkness, because I'm brave, I am strong, I am confident, I am free of fear. There's moments where I've chosen to be really bold and vulnerable, and other moments where I've been scared in my boots, and it's just choosing to know as well, how to walk that out. And then I think as well, not only with that, but with other fears. So if it's afraid of the dark or whatever, just like Lele, like your daughter could trust you to walk through that fear because she knows you and you have relationship with her. And there are fears that sometimes we need people's support to be able to walk through with us. So that's why my book, it's not only for kids, but it's really a family resource, because there are fears that kids have and they don't talk to their parents about. And there would actually be so much freedom if kids brought those fears to their parents so their parents could help them navigate them.
And is fear only connected to the future? Would it be perhaps enough to focus on the present to stop it?
Really, I think mindfulness as well helps us give 100% of ourselves. And if we're wrapped up in the future, then we can't be 100% of ourselves. This means we're actually doing a disservice to not only ourselves, but to our relationships and to the people around us. Because if I can't be 100% with where I am right now, if I can't acknowledge what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, or what I'm processing, how can I actually give the person or relationship or person the thing that I need? And as I've led even in children's ministry, as I've done trainings and developments, I found that if I'm consumed with my next to do or what else is on my list, that I'm actually not really benefiting my team. I'm not benefiting the people that I'm around, because I'm not 100% and I'm not present and fully focused. But when I found in the moments where I can, really look at the moment as what it is and be present and hear my team, because sometimes even when we're talking, we're thinking of the next thing that we can be saying. But if we're present and actually listening, I found that I've actually been a better resource. I've been a better trainer. I've been a better developer when I can stay present in the moment and actually listen.
I would say fear can be both future and past, because in the past, you could be like, oh, I remember I was afraid then. And, you're kind of contemplating that. And of course, right, as we just agreed, in the future. But if you're really present, you're really aware right now, fear doesn't exist, right? It's something that comes from within. It could take over and sort of take over your presence, but present itself is not fearful.
I think if people can just really choose to do that and choose to overcome their fears and know that it can really help them be a better version for not only themselves, but for others, I think it'll be really impactful across the board.
Thank you so much for coming to the show, dedicating your time to us and all our viewers. If you want to find out some more information about Bree and the things she's doing, you could, of course, check out the links below. And as always, stay present, train your fears, and enjoy your life.